So funny. So whenever I post on YouTube or whenever I post on social media at all across the board, I always expect to get a few comments. Oh, by the way, happy I think it's 2024 as you're watching this. I always expect to get like a few videos, a few post comments, basically, kind of just like telling me how, wrong I am and how, basically just negative comments. And that's okay, right? Like, that's part of social media. That's part of doing what I do. That's also part of kind of like putting yourself out there, right? I think a lot of it has to do with, we all come from like different walks of life. We all have different goals. We all have different things that we're angry about with our life, things that we wish went a different way. We all come from a different background. And I put up a post, I think about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, basically just explaining how here are 6 things you can do in 2024 to really kind of change your life. And I know I probably shouldn't even be like complaining about it, because this is what you expect from social media, but I just thought this was an interesting topic just to kind of like get your mind set to, change a little bit. Because I think what I posted basically said, step 1, resistance training essentially. Step 2, drink a certain amount of water. Step 3 was eat your protein. Step 4 was sleep 8 hours a day. Step 5 was read books. And then step 6 was walk 10,000 steps a day. I think I repeated that twice. There's another one too. That's so funny. My dad just texted me about a book I was reading for a while, which I had to stop reading because it got so depressing. The Gulag Archipelago, which is a 3-part series by Alexander Solzhenitsyn, who's basically a prisoner. He was a prisoner of Russia post the Second War. He fought for Russia, and then Stalin took over and basically imprisoned everybody who fought for Russia, essentially. Anyways, I digress. So I kind of put like those 6 things that I think could really help you change your life. And you don't have to do them all, right? But they're kind of like a cascading order, right? There's kind of a hierarchy there, right? And that's why I kind of put it at the top of the list, and I didn't do it purposely, but looking back at it now, the top of the list was weight training, right? I believe once you start implementing weight training, it kind of forces you to eat more protein, right? Because your body is craving more protein. I know with all my clients I've had, they sleep better, right? They're more tired towards the evening, just because the energy expenditure is higher, the caloric output is higher, right? So they're kind of turning into a human to like a machine. They're drinking more water, right? Water, because they're sweating more, right? They're expanding more energy, so they need to consume more water. And you can kind of see this hierarchy, forming. And I think it's very important. But this one guy commented, I'm pretty sure it's a guy, because, it's funny, I have like a 70-30 split between males and females, which is very high. I think like a Sam Sulek has like maybe 1% females. I have a very broad audience, both genders, which I think it's fascinating. I don't know if it's, kind of the way I come off, the way I speak, but I'm very, I'm the most inclusive page on YouTube. But a 70-30 split's pretty high. Male to female, obviously, not female to male. Male to female 70, female 30. But this person said, essentially, this fucking asshole behind me. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that, but this dude behind me is driving like an idiot and trying to like cut me off. Fucking. I shouldn't have. Sorry about that, YouTube. Probably get demonetized. That was raw as hell. This person like just, I don't know, like decided to like run into me, almost. But the person said, essentially, working full time, I can't do this. And I understand where you're coming from, right? Like, I understand that aspect. But what happens is when you say something like that, and this goes across the board, when you say something, oh, I work full time, I can't do that. Well, essentially what you just said is, I sleep 8 hours a day, assuming you sleep 8 hours a day. But if you're someone who's coming into the world with that attitude, you probably aren't sleeping 8 hours a day. You're probably sleeping, what's happening is you're either side of the spectrum. You're oversleeping, right? You're sleeping 10, 12 hours a day. And you're probably not even in REM, right? Because there's people who have that mentality of, I can't do it because fill in the blank. They're probably not sleeping well, they're probably not eating well, they're probably not working out, they're probably not doing any of those steps. So whenever they see something like that, where it's a nice clean cut, do this, do this, do this, do this, they're afraid, right? They pull back. And I'm not here to blame somebody like that, but I think it's something really important to recognize, right? It's really important to recognize if your excuse for anything across the board in life, no matter what it is time, that's a horrible excuse. The only time that, like, no pun intended, the only time I hear an excuse like that, and I'm like, oh, that's valid, is a mother who, a single mom who has 2, 3, 4 kids, no father figure around, right? And they're living with their mom, and you know what's interesting about that excuse is I've had clients like that before in the past. I've spoken to women like that, and they still find time to work out. So dog is so happy. So whenever I hear somebody say it's because they can't do it because they work full time, well, that's 8 hours a day, right? Assuming you sleep 8 hours a day, you work 8 hours, that's 16 hours. You still have 8 hours in the day, right? And you're working 9 to 5. Let's just assume. I'm just gonna assume that someone who's complaining about working full time is working 9 to 5, right? So what is that? 9, 10, so 8 hours a day. It's probably more 9 to 6 with an hour lunch break during the day. So you have 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., right? Let's just say that. For a standard U.S. worker working 80-hour paychecks, 40-hour weeks. Well, here's what I can say. If you get to bed at 9 p.m., right, and you get up at 4, you got 7 hours of sleep. That's what I do, right? I go to bed at like 9 to 10 p.m. and I'm up at 4 a.m. 5 days a week, 5 a.m. the other 2 days a week. That's how my body regulates. That's just kind of how I've always functioned, right? I've always slept like that, and it works best for me. Now, if you're at work at 9, I'm assuming you're probably leaving the house by 8, which I'm assuming you're probably cutting it close up by 7, right? Okay, so you're up by 7. I'm assuming you're probably getting to bed around midnight, right? So, get yourself 7 hours of sleep. You're probably not. You're probably getting to bed around 1 to 3 a.m., 1 to 2 a.m. I'm always shocked when I hear when people go to bed after midnight. I'm like, why? Why would you do that to yourself? Don't do that. That's crazy. If you get up at 5, right, go to bed at 10, right, you have 7 hours of sleep right there, right? You get up at 5, go be at the gym by 5:30, work out until 6:30, a little bit of weight training there. Well, you've just completed, the sleeping schedule. You just completed the muscle building. So you've already done 2 of the 6 right there. You're probably going to hit the 10,000 steps because you're probably hitting 3,000 steps before 7 a.m. just walking through the gym, waking up in the morning. So you're already halfway there. And I think what happens is people just don't put your health and your future self as a top priority. And until you do that, until you recognize the importance of your health and the ability to live longer and have a longevity and a healthy lifestyle, and how that can bring value to your life, being healthier makes you work more efficient, makes you more engaging in a relationship, makes you more, I don't want to, here's an unpopular opinion that I know a lot of people will push back on, but I think it's very important. When you're in a relationship with somebody, I think it's very important to, God, this is going to sound horrible. I'm going to say it anyways. I think it's very important that when you're with somebody, that you both engage in physical activity and physical health, so you can, I think it's irresponsible for you to be with somebody, and as you start that relationship, you are physically attractive, right? As long as, if you're physically attractive, there's a difference between being physically attractive and finding someone physically attracting. You can find someone physically attracting throughout the entire relationship, no matter what shape they're in. But I know for me, and from the way I look at it, is if I'm with somebody, it is irresponsible for me to put on a whole bunch of weight and become extremely overweight. I know that's a unpopular opinion, especially in 2024. I think a lot of people will find that kind of repulsive and disgusting, but I think it's true. I think it's important to maintain a level of health throughout a relationship, throughout a sexual relationship. That's just, call me old school. I think that's super important. But anyways, I basically, what I'm trying to say is I don't think that's a valid excuse. I can understand, you know, single mom, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids, and, you know, there's no father figure around. I can understand that. But if you're just some dude working 9 to 6, some girl working 9 to 6, bruh, like, your excuses is, I mean, you're just being lazy at that point, and you're also just not, putting yourself forward. And, you know, I understand that you probably have low self-esteem. There's probably a lot happening there, and, you know, I get it and I feel bad, but I think it's very important that you, you know, don't make those excuses, and, you know, you take the right path to change your life. Anyways, I'm at work. It's 8:30 in the morning. I got a few clients this morning, and I'm gonna go train. I don't think I'm gonna record. I might record at the apartment gym. I think I might do that. Just kind of go over like my back workout. But yeah, I think we have like 3 weeks left until I move, which I don't think I'm not, you guys watching the video so far in advance that, I mean, everything could change between now and then. But my goal is to be out of the apartment by the 19th of January. My lease is up the 6th of February. So we got a lot of moving parts. One of the reasons why I'm trying to stay ahead of uploading schedules, because I know it's probably going to be a week there where I probably can't record just because, you know, chaos. I did start a new book, Water for Elephants, which I've only read a chapter thus far. It's good, right? I think it's a fiction book. Her name's Sue Collins. Not Sue Collins. Anyways, it's a good book. I just finished up David Goggins' book last week. I've been reading again. It's so funny. Like, I can look at, like, there's things I can look at objectively in my life to see if I'm actually, like, on track. And one of them is, like, my weight, right? If my weight's, like, fluctuating a lot and it's, like, really high, really low, I know I'm not right. Like, I know something's not right. In my life, there's a stability feature that's kind of gone to the wayside that I need to get back on, and my weight is an indication of that. I think weight's an indication for 100% of the population. I don't want to speak for everyone, but I'm pretty sure it is. And then, because, you know, your weight is a physical representation of your mental and emotional state. I think it's just that simple. As much as I don't want it to be, I think that's just kind of the reality of it. And the second one is reading, man. Reading is so difficult. I mean, you know, past the actual reading part, like being able to interpret letters and put them into words, and then, you know, taking in those words and understanding what the author's trying to relay to you, and then forming, you know, abstractions off of your past, your present, and trying to relate it to what the author's trying to tell you, which is a difficult task in of itself. I think it's very difficult to read because it's just you, boy. Like, it's just you and your mind and the author and a little bit of music in the background, and all those little devil thoughts you have in your head and all those insecurities are just popping to the surface, boop, 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 and you just got to keep reading about the water and the elephant. It's difficult. It's hard, but I think it's worth it. Anyways, I'm probably gonna stop at the apartment gym, work out there, and show you guys just kind of what a back workout will look like for me. But let me go in, start training my clients. Have a beautiful day, and I'll catch you guys for the back day. So there's something I said in the last video, the last clip, that I want to kind of just reiterate real quick. I don't know what this does. I don't think that does anything. Oh, turn down the lighting a little bit. I want to reiterate something that I said. I mentioned something basically along the lines of stating how, you know, I think it's important to maintain like a certain confidence, I guess, within yourself. And one of the ways that I find confidence is when I feel like I look good. I didn't want that to come off as you have to be fit to be happy in a relationship, because objectively speaking, that's just not true. So I just kind of wanted to reiterate that. I didn't want it to come off as like, if you're not in shape, you can't like be happy in a relationship, because that's not true at all. Actually, quite the opposite. Someone who really loves you wouldn't really care about that. So I just didn't want to come off a certain way. I definitely don't want to get the Andrew Tate crowd to be obsessed with me. So we're going to go ahead and do a quick shoulder workout. I'm just going to do probably 3 movements here. I just want to show you the first one. This is a shoulder press movement.
Just a seated basic shoulder press. We're going to treat it as the FST7, except we're going to do SFT4. So there's going to be no rest for the muscle. It's going to stay engaged the entire time. Let me just adjust this just a little bit here. So the muscle in of itself is going to stay engaged throughout the entire movement. Let me adjust this a little bit more here. There you go. And basically the whole point of the FST7 is it keeps time under tension. It increases time under tension, which is going to increase your muscle mass over time. So here we go, just a seated one. You can do it standing, but I like it seated just because I can press a bit more weight too. It's really gonna help with those stabilizing muscles as well, which I think sometimes just doesn't get worked out enough. 3. All right, now we're gonna do a few reps. We're gonna do that for 2 more sets. I don't know if you guys see the fanny pack. The fanny pack is a staple of mine. Obviously you guys don't see it that much on the YouTube videos, but outside of here, I'm a big fanny pack guy. I hate pockets on me, so a fanny pack just allows me to carry things without having to worry about the big bulges. Nobody wants huge bulges in their pants, especially in their pocket region. You don't want that. So you need that fanny pack. And I don't want to see people with the fanny pack across the chest. Now, if you want to, you can, but nah. Fanny packs always go across the waist. All right, so it's interesting. I've been watching Sam Sulek for a while now. I'm putting back someone else's weight. And he doesn't really do a lot of delts overall. I think it's because he has very big delts. So he doesn't really see a point of doing them. I, on the other hand, I'm not at that point. So I love doing delts. It's one of my favorite movements to do, one of my favorite muscles to work. So we're gonna go ahead and do lateral delts. So we did front delts already with the front press. Technically speaking, you can probably get away without doing front delts if you do a lot of incline chest pressing. But I see nothing wrong with isolating them even more, especially if you feel like they're a lagging muscle group. For me, I don't think they're lagging that much. I think my biggest lagging muscle group is by far my traps. Fun little story, I always thought it was kind of weird when people had huge traps, like to me, like football player traps, which I just wasn't a fan of. So I just literally worked out traps maybe twice a year over like an 8-year period. But I'm at the point now where I think I want to grow my traps a little bit. So I'm doing traps, I would say, safe to say, 1 time a week, maybe twice a week, just with the regular shrug machine. But we're gonna go side lateral raises here. We're not gonna FST7 this, we're just gonna do a straight lateral raise. I'm gonna show you from the side first. Here we go. Keep your arms as straight as you can, and you wanna pull up with your shoulders. Let me show you from the front. And you almost want to act like you're dumping water, like water out of a water bucket at the top of the motion. So instead of like this, almost like rotate it a little bit there. We'll do that for 2 or 3 more sets. When you rotate at the top here, like that, just that slight movement is going to hit a lot more surface area of your delt. It's the same way when you do like a bicep curl and you curl. If you just go straight like that, you're gonna hit your bicep. But if you bring your pinky to the outside part of your shoulder, you're gonna hit both heads of your bicep, right? Just with that slight rotation. So after that, we're gonna go ahead and do rear delts with the dumbbells. So here we go with the rear delt flies. You do not need a lot of weight for these. I mean, I have 10 pounds here, and honestly, that might be pushing a little bit. But what we're gonna do here is bend over like we're doing a deadlift. I want your hands facing your legs. Let me come out here real quick. I want your palms to be facing your quads, right? So we don't want them out here. We don't want them hammer strength. We want your palms to be facing your quads. And the whole purpose here is you want to try to bring your pinkies together in the back, okay? We don't want our elbows super bent. You can bend them the farther you get into the set, but we need to keep them as straight as possible for the longest time. So here we go, palms facing the shins or the quads, bring the pinkies together. Now for this movement, more than any other movements, you're gonna see some muscle imbalances. If you have any, you're definitely gonna notice them on this movement. Now, also just be aware, whenever you do back movements, you're gonna find yourself hitting a lot of shoulders. So a lot of times when people do shoulders, they end up doing a lot of back work as well. It's very hard to establish just back focus movements without hitting your shoulders. So that's just something to be aware of whenever you're going through a shoulder specific workout, especially with rear delts. With rear delts, you're gonna hit your back a lot. So you can get away with, I mean, honestly, you can get away with doing shoulders and back on the same day, but it's just something to be aware of. But like I said, that was my last of my 3 sets for the rear delts. A lady walked in, so I didn't want to be filming as she was training. It's an apartment gym, right? I don't want to bother people. I also don't like bothering people at the public Gold's Gym as well. But we're gonna go ahead and go home. I got some pork chops. I'm gonna go home, cook up some pork chops, and that's gonna be my meal for the day. I've been eating so much beef lately, just so I decided to switch it up a little bit to some pork. Could have been chicken, but I think pork is superior to chicken. So let's go home and get that started. Alrighty guys, so we are currently cooking up all of the pork chops, or I'm cooking up all the pork chops. I have 10 ounces of pork chops, 300 grams of rice, and then I'm gonna do salsa. I've been switching it up a little bit with my salsa choice. I've been using this, I think I threw it between my teeth, this Safeway brand. It has like corn and beans in it. So I'm gonna throw that into the pork chops. I'm gonna throw that into the rice, and then that's gonna be my second meal of the day, okay? It's currently 2:30. I'm gonna have my final meal probably around 8, 7:30, 8, 9, around that time. I've been having my meals a little bit later in the day, and this is the pork chops I'm using, just this fresh cut Safeway brand. I think each package is about 12 ounces, so if I'm eating about 10 ounces per meal, I have about a day's worth of pork chops here, which, that's the thing, like, you know, people always talk about eating healthy, and how it can be expensive. And, you know, yeah, it can be a little bit cheaper, but at the end of the day, man, like, what gets me, which is probably not an issue for a lot of people, but the biggest issue I have is the amount of protein I eat. I eat so much protein. I like to eat around, right now I'm eating about 250 grams of protein, which is like, that's a lot. Like 250 grams of protein is a lot of protein. I think, you know, I'm sitting, so I wash the pork off my hands. A lot of people, you know, it's usually a gram per pound of body weight. So I'm even eating more than I really necessarily need to. I might cut back on that a little bit. I might go down like 210 to 230. Like 250 is just a lot of protein. But I've been seeing results. Like I'm feeling stronger. I'm feeling, you know, I'm just feeling stronger overall. Like I feel like I can push weight better. I just feel more capable when I go in the gym, more confident when I go in the gym. So I don't know, I might stick it out at 250 for a while, but it can be expensive. So I'm just kind of taking the rest of the day off of beef. I'm just gonna have pork chops. I'm probably gonna have the same meal a little bit later on, and then call that a day. You know, but it's a pretty simple day, right? Do a little shoulder workout. Pretty simple day, you know. Just kind of trying to prepare for 2024, and you know, it's going to be a fun year. It's going to be a busy year. There's going to be a lot of change happening, moving, just a lot of things
a lot of moving parts. But, you know, I got me, I got my beautiful dog over there, Nona, which is Italian, which is grandma in Italian. But yeah, that's the day. Pretty simple day, pretty boring day. It's 2:30. I don't have any clients this evening. Everyone's on vacation right now. Everyone's like taking time off. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and eat this meal up, relax, watch some Ozark. I might have to turn the AC on. It's like, I don't have my watch on, but it's like 60 degrees outside and it's hot. I might just open the windows. I have been reading this elephant book, Water for Elephants. I might go ahead and knock out a lot of that. I got a lot of books I have to read, like I was saying before. But yeah, take it easy today, calm day. I made a bunch of phone calls that I've been dreading to make, but I did them on my walk. I always find whenever I have like a hard conversation, also I'm seasoning my my pork chops up with just lemon pepper, which is my go-to seasoning for everything. If you've been watching for longer than a few weeks, I definitely have mentioned it in many videos. I just throw that on top though. Makes it nice and simple. Damn, I forgot to warm up my rice. Son of a gun. All right, I gotta warm up my rice real quick. Cold rice plus warm pork chops equals not fun. I might actually have to clean my apartment too. I haven't cleaned in about a week. I like to clean my apartment once a week, like a deep clean. I'm talking it down with the vacuum and the Windex, and we get going. I also got to put some medication on the dog, shampoo medication. She has these little scabs everywhere throughout her body, and they just keep popping up. I don't know. The vet said don't worry about it, so I'm not the expert. The vet is the expert. So we're going to definitely give her that shampoo. She's got to do it 2 to 3 times a week. So I'm just going to do it every 3rd day, which puts me about, on average, 2 to 3 days a week. But yeah, I'm going to call it a day, guys. I'm going to go back, eat this, shower, watch Ozark, and call it a day. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Have a great and beautiful day.